Hello everyone! After making a list of new roguelike and roguelite games to play in February 2026, I realized something. There are even more amazing titles coming out that month. So if you thought you'd seen them all, think again, because here are even more roguelike and roguelite games you definitely don't want to miss. Well, let's get into the list. The Last Citadel is a third-person roguelite shooter where you explore a massive citadel floating above a black hole. The citadel is guarded by massive raid bosses, each with unique attack patterns. You don't just shoot and hope, you need to learn how they fight and react smartly to win. In this game, you can play solo or team up with up to 4 players in true co-op mode. On harder difficulties, teamwork really matters. One player can be DPS, another can be a healer, and another can be a tank. Every role counts if you want to survive. For the price, this game is really impressive, especially since it's made by a solo developer. The campaign isn't super long, but there are many unlocks like weapons and cosmetics that give you more reasons to keep playing. Lethal Dungeon is a roguelike deck-building game with one simple but brutal rule. Every fight must be won in a single turn. There are no second rounds and no long battles. If you can't defeat all enemies with the cards in your hand, the run is over. This turns every encounter into a puzzle where the goal is not just to survive, but to find the smartest and most efficient combo possible. This game may not be for everyone. If you enjoy slow, multi-turn card battles, the one-turn rule might feel too strict. But for players who love strategy, precision, and perfect execution, this design is what makes the game special. In the end, Lethal Dungeon is a unique and clever take on roguelike deck-building games. Konfronto is a sci-fi roguelike auto-battler where you build a giant space carrier by fitting together different technologies like puzzle pieces, then send it into battle against other players' creations across the galaxy. The game kinda has a similar feel to backpack battles. The fun comes from managing your inventory and creating the best ship setup possible. You buy and sell cargo, place parts in the right spots, and assign crew members to pilot ships or open more space for upgrades. Every run feels like a cycle of visiting traders, checking new items, and improving your carrier step by step. This loop is simple, but very addictive, because you're always trying to build a stronger and smarter setup. Wish Me Well is a top-down roguelite dungeon crawler where the main goal is simple. Craft magical weapons, discover crazy synergies, and unleash your creativity. In this game, you will jump into the magic well, collect powerful scrolls, and use them to build your own custom weapon. The amazing part is that even with the same items, you can create completely different builds just by rearranging them. One run might turn your weapon into a fast laser blaster, and the next run into a chain reaction spell machine. This gives the game much more depth than it looks at first. If you love games like Noita, especially the part where you create your own spell combos, this game is absolutely worth trying.
Go, go, go.
Rogue Point is a squad-based PvE roguelike that feels a lot like the terrorist hunt mode from Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2. You can choose how to approach each mission in this game. If you like fast action, you can run and gun. If you prefer being careful, you can move slowly and use stealth. The game gives you real tactical freedom in how you play. The gunplay is fun and satisfying. Weapons feel strong, the animations look good, and every shot feels punchy. At the moment, there are only 4 maps, but since the game is in early access, more maps and content are clearly planned for the future. It's worth noting that this is mainly a co-op game, so playing solo can be much harder. Blackjack Descent is a tense psychological horror roguelike that turns the simple card game of blackjack into a deadly game of fate. This is not normal blackjack. The dealer doesn't follow fair rules and will do everything possible to stop you from winning. On top of that, the deck itself is infected with strange cards that break the rules of blackjack. These cards can change point values, trigger scary events, and make every round feel unpredictable and dangerous. It feels like the deck is alive and working against you. The game feels similar to Buckshot Roulette, but instead of guns, it's blackjack. The jump scares and creepy moments are also inspired by games like Five Nights at Freddy's, keeping you nervous every time a card is drawn. Dice A Million is a roguelike deck builder where your only goal is simple. Roll dice and reach 1 million points. That's it. You can mix and match more than 120 different dice, each with special effects that can stack and create powerful synergies. There are tons of fun builds you can make. Some dice boost nearby dice with area effects. Magnetic dice pull others closer. Some special dice grow stronger every time they are inside an effect zone. You can even find dice that charge up over time and suddenly trigger insane effects, like copying every die on the table. The game is clearly inspired by Balatro, but calling it Balatro with dice wouldn't be fair. Dice A Million does its own thing with smart design choices that make it feel fresh and rewarding. SealChain is a roguelike where your items can link together and create powerful chain reactions. You can also arrange items into special patterns called seals, which give you extra abilities and bonuses. This makes every run feel like a puzzle where you try to build the strongest setup possible. What really makes this game special is its progression system. It's one of the most interesting I've seen in this type of roguelike. You'll spend a lot of time just experimenting with your build, moving items around, and trying to create the perfect chain of effects. However, the game isn't perfect yet. There are a few bugs, and sometimes enemies can spawn right on top of you, which can be frustrating. This new Monster Train 2 DLC called Destiny of the Railforged proves just how well the developers understand their game. You get a fairly cheap DLC that adds a brand new clan, a new game mode, and several balance updates. On top of that, another clan is added for free for everyone, which is honestly amazing and shows how much the devs care about the community. What really stands out is the price. For around $10, you get a huge amount of content that can easily give you 15 to 25 more hours of gameplay. This DLC proves you don't need expensive pricing to make one of the best games in the genre even better.
They go around destroying.
Circle Empires 2 brings back the classic formula of expanding your empire in a fast-paced action RTS roguelike. You gather resources, build your army, and battle enemies and bosses in a world that changes every match. It's quick, simple, and addictive, just like the first game, but with better visuals and extra polish. One of the coolest new features is the unit editor, which lets you design your own units and experiment with different setups. This system has a lot of potential, especially if the developers add more units and mechanics in the future. So yes, the game is fun, but right now, it also feels unfinished. Compared to Circle Empire's rivals, this sequel has much less content.
Circles stay very round, destroying villages and burning circles. To avoid catastrophe, you'll need mighty defense.
Insider Trading is a roguelike deck builder where you control the stock market with cards. In each run, you play as a trader with a unique deck and strategy. Your goal is simple: move prices up or down, make smart trades, and decide the perfect moment to cash out before everything crashes. This is not a realistic stock simulator. It's all about your deck and your choices. Between market days, you enter the aftermarket to pick new cards. Some cards make your deck stronger, but others also add risk. When the market opens, only the deck you built controls how prices move. The game rewards timing. If you push too hard, prices become too expensive to enter. If you play too safe, you will miss your chance to win. Hold the Mine is a game where you explore a forgotten mine, collect valuable resources, and build powerful structures to survive the night. During the day, you send your dwarf into the mine with a limited number of moves. You choose the path, mine several blocks in a row, and plan carefully, but don't dig too far too fast, because you never know what dangers are hiding in the darkness. When night falls, everything changes. Waves of monsters rush in, and your job is to hold the line and survive until morning. As an early access game, Hold the Mine is already a blast to play. It has a strong foundation, exciting upgrades, and tons of potential for the future. Dobbel Dungeon is a roguelike, turn-based RPG where you gather a party, roll dice, and fight your way across different islands. What makes the game really interesting is how the islands change. Each island has 4 different versions depending on when you visit them in your run. Even the boss fights change. This means your choices matter a lot. For example, if you want to focus on physical damage, you might clear certain areas early so you don't have to deal with tough enemies. Every run feels like a puzzle. Do you go for power now or save it for later? Do you avoid hard enemies or face them head-on for better rewards? That's what makes Dobbel Dungeon so fun. It's simple, strategic, and full of smart choices that change how every run plays out. Menherarium is a deck-building roguelite where you're trapped in a room with a clingy, unstable anime girl. And every day you must gamble your blood to survive. For 7 days, you're forced to play a dice game called Chinchiro. Your blood is your life bar. Lose too much and it's game over. Each day is short and high stakes. There's a dice mechanic, but the real strategy comes from your cheat items. These are cards you collect that let you bend the rules, re-roll dice, protect your blood, or push your score when things go bad. What makes it interesting is that the rules keep changing. As the days pass, she adds new conditions and twists. You can't rely on one safe strategy forever. A pattern that worked yesterday might fail today. KLETKA is a co-op horror game for up to 6 players where you ride an elevator that is literally trying to eat you. Your mission is simple. Go down floor by floor, explore dangerous areas, collect items, and survive. But there's a twist. You must feed the elevator. If you don't, it might decide to eat one of your teammates instead. The main campaign is short, with 100 floors and a boss at the very end. There's also an endless mode, which is where the real fun begins. Up to 6 players can jump in, and if someone dies, you can revive them by collecting bottles and using special machines. This makes teamwork very important. KLETKA is clearly inspired by Lethal Company, from the art style to the teamwork-based gameplay. If you enjoyed that game, this will feel familiar right away. That's all for today's list. Subscribe and like for more exciting new roguelike and roguelite games. That's it, and see you next time.